Hey friends, this episode is sponsored by Mood Plus, a company with a unique and ancient solution to modern stress. Some fascinating studies have happened in recent years that have shown the impact of beneficial microorganisms on mental health, specifically a bacteria called Mycobacterium vaccae. Basically, these microorganisms interact with our immune system and promote mental well-being as well as resilience to stress and anxiety. Normally, we would be exposed to this bacteria through contact with soil and mud. That's how our ancestors did it. But as society has grown and we've better understood disease, our efforts to combat the bad microbes have also reduced our contact with the good microbes. This is where Mood Plus comes on the scene, because they are on a mission to harness the natural power of these microorganisms in order to enhance health and well-being. If you're looking for a natural, research-backed way to impact your mental well-being and boost your mood, then give Mood Plus a try. The company is called Mood Plus, but it's spelled M-U-D with an umlaut over the U. So listen close for the website because I'm going to spell it all out for you. Visit mud-plus.com and use code TRYMUD at checkout for 15% off your first order. Again, that's mud-plus.com and use code TRYMUD at checkout for a 15% discount.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to the Having It All podcast, the show about what it takes to live an abundant, loving life. My name is Matthew Bivens, and I want to help you live with more clarity, confidence, and purpose so you can truly have it all. Let's do it. What's going on, my awesome friend? Welcome back to the podcast. I am Matthew Bivens, your balanced lifestyle coach, and today is day 3 of our awareness suite. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. I'm very happy that you're here. And all this week, we're doing something a little bit different on the podcast. Usually, I publish one episode every week on a single topic. However, for this week, for the next 7 days, we're doing one shorter episode every day, with each episode focused on helping you grow in your self-awareness. Now, the reason that I'm focusing on self-awareness is because, and I've experienced this as a coach, if you want to make any changes in your life, then you first must become aware of the habits that are holding you back. So self-awareness encompasses a lot. Therefore, each day, we are honing in on a different area of self-awareness. And the idea is that you practice in that day, honing in on that particular area of self-awareness so that you can get some valuable insights. Because there's a lot of different ways to cultivate self-awareness. On day 1, we focused on awareness of your body and what your body is communicating to you. On day 2, we focused on awareness of your thoughts, what's going on in your mind. And today, we're talking about awareness of your emotions. Now, emotions are very, very powerful messengers, and they give you insight, some really great insight into what's going on in your inner world. And being aware of your emotions involves recognizing the emotion, like what exactly are you feeling? And then acknowledging it, being willing to acknowledge, hey, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling upset, I'm feeling down, whatever it is. And then really understanding how that emotion interacts with and influences your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors. And there absolutely is an influence. Hey friends, this episode is sponsored by Mood Plus, a company with a unique and ancient solution to modern stress. Some fascinating studies have happened in recent years that have shown the impact of beneficial microorganisms on mental health, specifically a bacteria called Mycobacterium vaccae. Basically, these microorganisms interact with our immune system and promote mental well-being as well as resilience to stress and anxiety. Normally, we would be exposed to this bacteria through contact with soil and mud. That's how our ancestors did it. But as society has grown and we've better understood disease, our efforts to combat the bad microbes have also reduced our contact with the good microbes. This is where Mood Plus comes on the scene, because they are on a mission to harness the natural power of these microorganisms in order to enhance health and well-being. If you're looking for a natural, research-backed way to impact your mental well-being and boost your mood, then give Mood Plus a try. The company is called Mood Plus, but it's spelled M-U-D with an umlaut over the U. So listen close for the website because I'm going to spell it all out for you. Visit mud-plus.com and use code TRYMUD at checkout for 15% off your first order. Again, that's mud-plus.com and use code TRYMUD at checkout for a 15% discount. Hey friends, this episode is sponsored by Factor, my go-to source for delicious and ready-to-eat meals. I love the work that I do, and I can find myself following an idea or a project for hours at a time, and then realize that I haven't eaten in a while. It's in those moments that I'm so grateful for Factor. First off, their meals are fresh, chef-crafted, and ready to eat, which means I don't have to spend time prepping, cooking, and cleaning up. I just get to enjoy the food. Second, since there are over 35 different meal options each week, I never get bored. I can choose from Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more, which is great because Sarah and I have very different tastes, and now we don't have to compromise as much in the kitchen. And then there are the add-ons, which include things like pancakes, smoothies, and more. Basically, Factor has you covered through the entire day. Overall, we have found so much value in Factor. And if you're like us, then Factor might be the perfect solution for you if you're looking for fast, premium options with no cooking required. Head to factormeals.com/havingitall50 and use code havingitall50 to get 50% off. Again, that's code havingitall50 at factormeals.com/havingitall50 to get 50% off. So, cognitive behavioral therapy is a therapeutic approach that helps people to recognize and modify unhelpful thought patterns and behaviors. It's really honing in on those things that are keeping you from feeling the way that you want to feel, these patterns that you've been running over and over and over, and it helps you to unwind them. That's what cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is really focused on. And there's a great article on the CBT approach. And I'm going to read to you a couple of passages from that article. And if you want to check out the full thing, the link to the article is in the show notes of this episode. So here we go. This is from the article. From the CBT perspective, there are three components that make up our emotional experience. They are thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Thoughts refer to the ways that we make sense of situations. It could be words, ideas, sentences, or mental images. Feelings doesn't refer to emotion, but the physiological changes that occur as the result of an emotion. For example, when we feel the emotion of anger, we have the feeling of our face flushing. Behaviors are simply the things that we do, as well as the things that we don't do. Like, for example, not going to a networking event because you feel nervous. That's an example of the things you don't do. So in a nutshell, a situation unfolds and our thoughts about it generate feelings, leading to behaviors that influence the situation in one direction or another. This cyclical process repeats, emphasizing the interconnectedness of thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and their impact on ongoing situations. Pay attention to this part. If you want to learn to manage your mood and act more effectively in the face of challenging situations, it is crucial to develop the ability to identify and distinguish between thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Usually, when we are overwhelmed, emotion feels like a tidal wave of discomfort, but we don't stop to clarify the components of that emotion. As a result, we have great difficulty doing anything about our mood other than waiting for it to pass all on its own. By breaking an emotion down into its parts in the moment, we develop crucial insight into the factors that are maintaining or worsening our unpleasant emotions. That, my friends, is the portion that I wanted to read to you. And this is why it's so important for us to become more aware of what's happening with our emotions, because they're connected to so many things. So let me share with you a personal story. This is how the thought, feeling, behavior triangle really played out in my own life. So I started fasting 11 years ago. And the first fast that I ever did happened to be on a weekday, and it was during the work week. So on that day, I had my water with me and I had my green juice because I was doing a liquid fast. So I had my water and my green juice, and I'm sitting at my desk doing my work. And an email came to me and I opened it up, and it was from a client. And this client was upset. Like, they were pretty angry at us. And so I read the email and I had this thought, oh man, they're upset. Did I do something wrong? What did I mess up? Oh my gosh, am I going to get in trouble for this? Those were my thoughts. Those thoughts led to some very specific feelings. I felt stressed, I felt worried, and I felt afraid. That stress, worry, and fear showed up in my body as heat. My body gets hot when I feel real stressed. I start sweating under my arms. I get a prickly sensation all over, and I just get uncomfortable. That discomfort led me to a behavior that usually comforts me, which in this case is reaching for my sweet and salty snacks. I love trail mix, and I usually have a bag of trail mix next to my desk. And so on this day, I was so used to having my trail mix next to me that I just instinctively reached for it. And I realized, oh my gosh, I don't have my trail mix there. And it was in that moment that I recognized, holy cow, my thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are all connected. I had a thought that led to a feeling, and I wanted to feel better. And so I reached for my snacks. And it helped to show me how my emotions were triggering certain behaviors. So there was a connection that I understood in that moment. And then from there, I began to really examine, like, okay, well, what other thoughts are creating different feelings in my body that are triggering certain behaviors? Because up until that moment, I was not aware of the connection of all of those things. And that set me down a path where I learned a little bit more about myself. So again, it's so important that we become aware of our emotions, because if you are unaware, then you will continue to repeat unhealthy and unproductive cycles of thinking, feeling, and behaving. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep pushing you further and further away from the life, results, and experience that you want. If you're planning to have it all and live your version of an abundant, loving life, you absolutely must become aware of your emotions. So let's talk about how you can practice tuning into your emotions right now, today. First, here are some questions I want you to ponder. The first one is, what emotions am I experiencing right now? And what are these emotions trying to tell me? In this very moment, you're listening to this podcast, your emotional state might be pretty chill. If it isn't, then hey, this is where you definitely want to tune in. But as you go throughout your day, I really do want you to tune in and pay attention to the emotion that you're experiencing right then. And what is that emotion telling you? Because remember, that emotion could be connected to, and many times it's connected to, a thought and a feeling. So the next question is, what are the thoughts that come to me either before or after the emotion? And what is the behavior that results? Ask yourself these questions. Let's become aware of the emotion, the thought, the behavior. And then ask yourself the question, how do I typically react to different emotions? And are these reactions serving me? So go back to my example of fasting, get the email, feel stressed and worried. My reaction was to soothe myself with food. So I became aware of this emotional attachment that I had to food. And I became aware of my stress eating. So ask yourself, how do I typically react to different emotions? And are these reactions serving me well? These are the questions that I'm inviting you to ponder, which is going to help you grow in your awareness.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Waiting on a tax return? Hopefully it ends up in your hands. Fraudulent tax returns due to identity theft increased by 30% in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Our U.S.-based restoration specialists are experts dedicated to helping solve your identity theft issues. And all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. So we'll reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. Help protect your information this tax season with LifeLock. Save up to 25% your first year at LifeLock.com/aware.
Now, I also want to leave you with some action steps. So here are a couple of very concrete action steps that you can take to put these things into practice. First, practice mindfulness. This has been a theme throughout all the days of the Awareness Suite. It's to develop a practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness simply means tuning in, becoming present in this very moment, and really tuning into your current environment. It could be the environment in your mind, the environment in your body, or your immediate surroundings. So practice mindfulness today. Take a few minutes, a couple times throughout the day, to just check in. What are my emotions right now? What am I feeling? Like I said earlier in the episode, if you have the emotion of anger, well, what's the feeling that comes with that? I'm angry and I feel all hot and flushed. Okay. Become aware. And you can do that by practicing mindfulness, intentionally saying, for the next 5 minutes, I'm really going to tune in as I'm going for this walk around my neighborhood. Another action step is to journal. Get a journal and write down your thoughts. This is what I've been thinking today. And this is the emotion that was coming with the thought. So journal your thoughts and your emotions to gain clarity and give yourself a little bit more insight into what's going on in your inner world. You can even journal down behaviors. And if you start noticing that chain, that triangle, like, I had this thought and it led to this feeling, and then I did this behavior. Journaling is a fantastic way to gain awareness because you're sitting down and you're reflecting. You're either reflecting on what's happened in the past or you're writing down what you're feeling in the moment. So it's an awesome, awesome practice to develop. The last action step you could take is go get some feedback. Go reach out to a trusted source like a family member or a friend or a coach or a therapist and ask for their support in helping you to process your emotions. I recommend doing that with a person who has the ability to support you in processing the emotions, somebody who can empathize but not go ahead and get enrolled in your emotion. You don't want that. But somebody who can be like, wow, I feel what you're saying. I've been there. I feel you. And let's take a look at this together. That's the kind of person you want to seek out. So those are some action steps for you. Practice mindfulness, journal, and get some feedback from a trusted source. You couple that with the questions that I recommend you ask yourself around the emotions, and I guarantee you're going to get some awareness. And, I'll leave you with this. I do understand that it can be intimidating to go and check in on your emotions. And it might even feel like it's a daunting task because your emotions, you might feel like they're very complicated. But I do want to tell you and remind you that the effort is worth it. It's worth it because, like I said in the beginning of the episode, your emotions are messengers and they're giving you such valuable insight into yourself, into what's happening in your inner world. And so after listening to this episode, you have a deeper understanding as to the ripple effect that your emotions can have. Now, just by listening to this, you are more aware that your emotions, they ripple through your thoughts, your feelings, and your behavior. So take some more time today to tune in, to go deeper, and really become even more aware of your emotions. Why? Because you're worth it. You're worth it. And I know that you're planning to have it all. And so your version of an abundant, loving life is worth you taking a little bit of time today to tune in and become more aware. All right, my friend. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Tomorrow, I will see you back here once again as we continue to explore new aspects of self-awareness. Once again, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm sending you so much love. My name is Matthew Bivens, and here is to you having it all. Quick note about the Having It All podcast. I am not a doctor nor a licensed therapist. I'm a man with a story and a passion for conscious conversation. My thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are my own. So please consult with your doctor or healthcare provider regarding any questions or issues you have related to your personal physical or mental health.
Does your father know you're listening to this podcast? Well, when you're done, why don't you stop by and check out a show that is 100% dad-approved, Dadages. Hi there, I'm Chad Hagel. If you're looking for useful insights and practical advice you can actually apply to work, family, education, philanthropy, and just life in general, check out Dadages. That's Dadages, wherever you listen to your podcasts.